September 25th, the new Fox Tuesday kicks off with New Girl's new season. Then welcome Ben and Kate.
Stay away from my sister before you find out what 6 years of Krav Maga feels like. Well, like year and a half plus like 4 years on and off I was traveling.
Followed by another all-new New Girl.
What am I looking at here?
Pure, unadulterated friendship.
And the Mindy Project.
Can't believe you're tattling.
Tattling is when a little girl does it, okay? When a hot woman does it, it's called whistleblowing.
The new Fox Tuesday, premieres September 25th on Fox.
You're listening to the AfterBuzz TV Network, now the largest new media platform on the web, and your #1 source for after-show entertainment.
Very good, Dean Johnson.
From the AfterBuzz Studios in Los Angeles, California, presented by Maria Menounos and Bing.com, and streaming live thanks to Akamai Technologies, this is AfterBuzz TV's WWE Monday Night Raw After Show. We'll break down tonight's episode and get you all the latest news and gossip. If you'd like to buzz in on tonight's show, you can buzz us at 424-256-1729. That's 424-256-1729. And now, another post-game wrap-up show for your favorite TV show. It's AfterBuzz TV's WWE Monday Night Raw After Show.
And we are live here in Burbank, California. No, we're in Encino.
Yeah,
I
Encino,
am Nigel McGuinness.
We're on Burbank.
Hosting this evening, and along with me, Ryan Clum.
I'm back again.
Aspiring professional wrestler?
Aspiring, yeah. I just hit my 1 year of training on Thursday.
And I caught one of your wrestling matches on,
did
on
you
YouTube.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Yeah,
oh,
I'll be talking to you about that later. And right beside Ryan there, Josh Padgett.
Yes, sir.
How are you?
I'm doing well, Nigel. It's good to see you again.
Good to see you too. White teeth. Look at those.
Oh, well, you know.
Shiners. True
Well,
American.
style,
A
yes.
true American.
American made.
Exactly. All right, so we'll get straight into things. 1 to 10, boys. What would you say? Show as a whole.
I'd say 7, maybe.
A 7 again?
Good 7.5. I enjoyed it.
Yep.
-5.
5? Wow, that's low. That is low. Well, we'll get
I might
into
have
that.
to go a little bit lower.
No.
It was weak on the wrestling tonight.
It was
A lot
light
of
on the
talking.
wrestling. Yeah, it was light on the wrestling. I'd probably go about a 7. I think maybe out of 100 would be more valuable, sort of that, so for future reference. Anyway, so we got started off with a promo, as is always the case.
Yeah, we started with Punk and Heyman in the ring. And they asked referee Brad Maddox to come out and admit that he was wrong from last week when Punk pinned, or Cena pinned Punk, and Punk had the foot on the rope, so referee was forced to come out and apologize.
All right. 2 of the best interview guys in the business. Would you not agree?
Yeah, definitely.
Yep.
I definitely agree, yeah. Those guys, you know, great idea to get them started off here in the beginning. I think it was a travesty last week, what happened. And someone needs to answer for this.
Absolutely.
So AJ came out and basically got trashed 2 months ago. They showed footage from 2 months ago. I thought it was much longer than this. But 2 months ago was when she proposed to Punk, and I'm going, oh snap! Like you know, that was when he was still like doing the FaceTime.
Right.
He was still facing. And I thought that was great because it was kind of humiliating. And like all the guys,
he went back onto it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it made sense. This is why she's kind of got it out for him a little bit, you know, or at least if it's not, it makes sense why what he would claim, why he would claim that. So
and then Heyman proposed.
Heyman proposed to AJ and said he likes him basically young, dumb, and ambitious. Was
Who
his,
doesn't? Right? Wow. Speaking of which, anyhow, so she went crazy, went to the back and
slapped Heyman. First, which
Heyman.
I gotta say, welcome back, Paul Heyman. You know, we've talked a little bit about it, but I missed him for a long time. I'm glad he's back.
What a talent, you know, just such a great mind for the business and such a great performer. And between him and Punk, and you know, you have to say there's a lot of very talented people in WWE now.
Yeah, there is. I enjoyed actually this segment because it actually kind of was storyline. It made sense. A lot of times now it feels like they'll do a 15-minute segment just to set up one match that I think is 10 minutes too long.
Right.
And this actually told the story. It built. It made sense. I actually enjoyed this opening segment.
Got in and out pretty quickly, right?
Yeah, but it didn't drag. I mean, it was long. I mean, it probably went 15 minutes, right?
It was a 15-minute segment,
20 minutes.
it was entertaining.
Yeah.
Well,
that's what we need.
That is key. It's entertaining,
Yeah.
you know. I mean, no matter how long it is, I'll watch 3 hours of Santino.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? As long as it's entertaining. So, speaking of entertaining, if you can, please do go to iTunes, rate and comment on our show. Helps us. And tell a friend. It only takes a minute. Like sex with Ryan.
King of the quickie.
And he's done it twice. So, anyway, when we had our first match of the show,
Yeah, well, actually, right before that, though, we also had a small backstage segment with AJ talking to the referee, and he said he would never do it again. And then she went a little crazy. And said, you know, he embarrassed her, and that, you know, he should never do that again.
Right,
So.
and a little issue I had with that little exchange between those two was that they did not make eye contact with each other. They're standing right next to each other, and like he's like, "I promise I'll never do it again."
Yeah.
And I'm like, "Okay, is it an acting choice or you?" And
I
then
think for her it is.
She's crazy.
Yeah.
So I understand, but she was looking at him most of the time, and then like when she started going off, then she was doing this thing, and it was very distracting. But she got tears coming out of her eyes, so we know that she's committed. She's insane.
She's good.
So yeah, so then that led into the Dolph Ziggler
And Kofi
Kingston.
Probably, arguably, the two most athletic guys on the roster.
two great guys, yeah. What do you guys think of it?
I thought it was really good. It was a really good, athletic, competitive match. You know, I watch a lot of stuff, a lot of the bumps Ziggler takes, and I've been going back and watching a lot of matches and watching a lot of Kurt Hennig, and he reminds me a lot of Kurt Hennig.
Yeah.
And a lot of the just, you know, Hennig would do a lot of those really creative,
Over the
interesting
top
bumps.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they always seem to work for Mr. Perfect. You know, and isn't that weird, Lau? For some people, you can go, oh, God, you know, and what we're trying to do as professional wrestlers is present to something which people can suspend their disbelief about, you know. I always remember, like, some of the veterans telling me when I started out and people taking a backdrop, and there were guys, and I was one of them, who would take a backdrop and would get like 10, 15 feet in the air, and you see it on Raw all the time, you know what I mean? And people would think, wow, that's so spectacular. But at the end of the day, like, it's not realistic, because everybody knows you can't push someone that high unless they're pushing themselves as well. So there's always that sort of fine line, you know, between what's the most entertaining or the most visually pleasing aesthetically and what's believable. You know, if you can find that, you know, tread that line well, you've got a great pro wrestler.
Yeah, I'll tell you. I mean, it may not be realistic to go 10 feet in there, but it's really scary too. I'd like to go a little lower than that. But,
right. So then we had that. Well, and people got thrown to the back, right? Vicky was out there, and Truth was out there.
Vicky and Truth with Little Jimmy, and I can't. Did Little Jimmy's drink get thrown on Vicky?
Yeah,
is that what it was?
Kofi accidentally like hit it out of his hand, and R-Truth like splashed Vicky right in the face.
Yeah. Vicky went crazy, and then so they
almost had a brawl out there. So then R-Truth, Jimmy.
So again,
Vicky, get out.
They're involving referees, and they're making their part, you know, far more important, which is great. It gives you a lot more directions, a lot more things you can do with a match, and excellent.
And what a great match too. I mean, Kofi and Ziggler, like you have the Money in the Bank winner right there. I mean, he's next in line. He's on deck to win the title, and he has like a great clean win off of Kofi.
Right.
But Kofi has like almost beat him. Like it was a great match.
Yeah.
So it put them both over, I thought.
I think it would have been funny if they had kicked out Vicky and Truth, and Little Jimmy stayed behind. Got involved somehow.
I love that. I love imaginary people. I do, really. I always have a few.
I think my favorite it'll always be when Daniel Bryan punted Little Jimmy outside the ring, and R-Truth flew out and tried to get him. Daniel Bryan said, "You're consoling an imaginary child." So
awesome. Then we had what was after that?
We had Dr. Shelby
That's right.
at the diner with sitting in the booth with Daniel Bryan, and then Kane or Gerald was was their waiter.
So it was a show long sort of, you know, we kept going back to the diner and back to the diner.
I think there were 3
so
diner
let's cover them all in one segment here now. You know, what did you think? I mean, I was entertained by them.
They had done kind of this like film type segment a few weeks ago when they did the brogue kick thing with Sheamus and Otunga, and to me that didn't work at all because they were doing rack focuses, and they're trying to almost make a an independent film the way they were shooting it, and it was really distracting to me. This I like better. It was a little bit more fly on the wall. That you know, they were still doing it with better cameras and trying to give it the film look, but I liked it a lot better, and I thought they were funny.
And a big difference is your talent that you're dealing with.
Yes.
Daniel Bryan and Kane can do no wrong.
And they're funny
these
together.
past few weeks.
Yeah.
These guys are funny.
Their chemistry is great. Who would have thought they'd have such great chemistry
I would have done.
together?
I mean, you know, Dragon's so like dry, and you know, and Kane is as well. I would have known for sure, without a doubt. I mean, I say it every week. He's got to be so happy. So easy money to just, you know, this is what I'm going to do today. Pretend to eat, you know, some meatballs.
Yeah.
I mean, that's difficult for him because he's a vegetarian. And
Yeah. Well, I guess he's no longer a vegan. He's off that diet right now, I've read.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah. So he's saying he's no longer a vegan right now. Yeah.
Is he a vegetarian though, or
I'm not sure. I don't.
Like, how does he get the size without?
I know he was a vegan because of health reasons. When he went to the through that whole medical check, he was doing that. But yeah, for some reason I don't know why. I know he said it's very difficult to keep it up on the road.
It is very difficult to keep it up, but
especially on the road. I mean,
maybe he's found a girl that likes eating meat.
He's with one. He's with one of the Bella twins.
Is he still?
Yeah, he's Brie Bella. I think he's dating.
Well, Austin Aries actually is a vegetarian. Being a vegetarian
that's right.
And I mean, there's a guy's in fantastic shape. Right?
Yeah.
I mean, even some MMA guys. If you get like Jake Shields is, and I think one of the Diaz brothers might be as well. I think Nick might be.
You just got to make sure you get enough protein. And, you know, I mean, I think Aries is thinking of actually doing a vascular vegetarian cookbook.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
There are some athletes that are starting to do some weird like vegetarian diets and swear by it and say it's better than any meat
might be
diet.
Great.
So
might be great. Then we got the tag match, Primetime versus my favorite Santino and Zack Ryder.
Zack Ryder, yeah. Unfortunately, not enough time for Santino at all.
Right.
The Primetime players basically squashed him. It was a glorified squash, but they're really trying to push these guys. I think right now is angry and up and coming. They want those belts and they're hungry.
Yeah, I think it was a good move. I mean, you're establishing the legit tag team.
Right.
Actually can beat Zack Ryder and Santino.
Two guys that are over and very popular, but at the same time not a team, so it doesn't really hurt them to lose a tag match.
So you can't just throw two guys together and have a tag team. You know, you got to have something special. And I like that because they've been doing a lot of work with these tag teams over the past several months.
Yeah,
and
they're rebuilding the division.
It does seem to be that way, yeah. So good for them. Good for them.
Yeah.
Before we move on, Maria Kanellis, who is unfortunately not here again, I believe is going to phone in later in the show.
At some point.
So stay tuned. If you have any questions for Maria, call in as well. If you want to go on a date for Maria, we're running the same competition as last time. You have to try and beat up Mike Bennett to get the date, but nonetheless, to get that opportunity, you have to think of any 3-digit number. If it's the same 3-digit number that I'm writing down here now, you will get punched in the face by Mike Bennett.
Or you get to go on the date and Mike is the chaperone, right?
Yeah, there you go. ROH Wrestling. All right, fantastic. So let's move on. Excuse me. We have Mick Foley.
Yeah, Mrs. Foley's baby boy came out.
Another one of the greats, the legends, not just in ring, but also in promos, coming out there and
great
always gets a
writer,
great
very
reaction.
talented guy. It's very, very talented, very intelligent guy.
Punk came out afterwards and sum up the promo.
This is another example of WWE trying to get some more real heat on Punk because he's still so over. So it's like, okay, Bret Hart, and then Jerry the King Lawler, we almost kill him, and then and now let's get Foley out here, and immediately Foley's reason there is look, I want to complain about Punk, and I'm like, man.
And I think Punk's doing a good job of getting that heat now. They were really booing him at this, and I thought he was really good he really attacked the audience tonight.
Sure.
And did a great job doing it too.
Well, it was one of the best heels in Ring of Honor history as well. When he was a villain there, without a doubt. It's just for me, it's tough. When a guy gets cheered, I say let it go. I just why we still are obsessed with this notion that someone has to be cheered and someone has to be booed. I guess I understand. All right, that's why people pay money.
I guess if it doesn't, it becomes MMA. I mean,
and MMA doesn't draw money, does it?
Oh, of course not.
Heavens forbid, though. But they're not doing well on pay-per-view.
But yeah, it's hard. You don't want to just become the same product as that.
It won't be the same product because you can control outcomes, and there's far more promos. There's far more leeway than MMA has.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, and Nigel, think about this. Like, I mean, because I totally agree with you with that. Like, I'm really bugged by what they are doing with Sheamus and Punk over the past several months. You know, and you think of the greats, like from Ric Flair to Stone Cold Steve Austin to The Rock. I mean, these guys were not your like quintessential face or heel. Like people, Ric Flair was clearly a heel, but people loved him. Stone Cold, I mean, he was like the anti-hero.
Right,
people loved him. Rock, he was sitting there yelling at people, making fun of them, and people were still cheering.
Exactly,
and that was success.
And did they try and like get people to boo them? Absolutely not.
No, then they turned them. I mean, they would turn the heel's face once the audience went with them, and they'd go with the audience. Now sometimes
Flair was, you know, Flair was never the baby face. He was the heel, but people cheered him nonetheless, and like he was over. It's over or there's not over, and that's the only thing that friggin' matters. You know what I mean? Simple as that.
And like Sheamus is just stuck. I feel like I want him to be like, you know, the hooligan. It's like now they're making him. You know, I'll get to that later about Sheamus, but Punk,
they're having them. Their faces are a little PG, and they have to keep it a certain way. I agree. I mean, I guess the best way to do it is just kind of the way the UFC does it, is just see who the fans cheer and who they have faces and they have heels, but they don't tell Josh Koscheck what to do. I mean, or Chael Sonnen. Chael Sonnen just starts talking crap, and people boo him because they don't like the way he's being disrespectful, and that's how they build up their fights.
Long story short, Foley pretty much said to Punk, you know, as someone who's had a lot of great moments, he says, you need one more. So
he said, do you want to be a statistic or a legend?
I don't care if you've been a champion for a year.
Right. Yeah.
And he said Foley has been champion for 29 days
over 3 runs.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
And he said 29 days over 3 runs, and nobody remembers, nobody cares, but I'm a legend. And who cares that you've had it for? Because Punk now, we should mention, has held, was it 309 days today?
Something like that.
Somewhere around there. And he's the 10th longest reigning champion of all time. It's impressive to have that, especially in this day and age. It was just a couple of years ago the belt changed hands like 8 times in a year.
For sure.
And once every other week it was changing hands. So
absolutely. So moving on. The Miz, the Intercontinental Champion. Nice looking belt, nice looking guy.
Yep.
Out to the ring to sort of follow on from what happened last week with Ryback. Feed me more. Looks like he's been eating more than enough already.
Looks like they're going to feed him the Intercontinental Championship at some point here.
So came out, and I, you know, Miz has been around a long time now. When he started out there, he had a lot of heat from a lot of the guys. Arguably, I don't know what it was because of how he got there or whatever else.
I'm not sure. I know he had to change in the wasn't allowed in the locker room for 6 months or something crazy like that.
And I you know, I haven't watched a whole lot of him over the years, but I thought he really had a good match. You know,
I think he's really good.
He's a real talent.
He's solid. He's solid.
Without a doubt. You know,
and he's a guy that everybody thinks that WWE just hired him off the real world. That wasn't true.
Right.
You know, he moved out here to California. He was at UPW. He was on the road for 3 years doing the indies. I know a lot of people that have worked the indies with him down here. And then he got on Tough Enough because of that. But everyone thinks they just put him on Tough Enough because he was on MTV, and that's not true. You know, he paid his dues.
He certainly did. And speaking of someone else paying their dues, was Ryback. You know, I mean, he was in developmental for a long time.
Skip Sheffield.
Yeah, exactly. You know, and went up and got injured, and then was let go, and then came back, and all this sort of stuff. So you know, he's a testament to a lot of guys that just wait and wait and wait, and you see these guys on the independents, and you think, oh God, these guys are never going to make it. And then when they do, you go, oh, fantastic. Same thing
stick with it.
With Damien Sandow, came on later in the show. You know, and some people make it. It's a game of poker. You know? When you want to be a professional wrestler, all you can do is you put your chips on the table, and if they come in, great, and if they don't, you know, you end up moving to California and trying to make a documentary about your own life. Moving on, we had another one of those restaurant skits we talked about, and then it was AJ with the referees backstage.
Just briefly on that thing we didn't mention before on the Daniel Bryan thing, they did a little homage to When Harry Met Sally on the second one, which I appreciate as a film student. So
that was the best. That was awesome.
Entertaining.
With Mae Young, and I got to say, because I'm Rick, who trained me, was trained by Mae Young, so there's a little connection there. So
there is a little connection there.
When I see Miss Mae Young there.
She's quite a feisty woman, isn't she?
She's 90 years old.
90 years old.
And still doing that stuff.
Right. Do you think, oh God,
she said she wants to wrestle a match on her 100th birthday.
Yeah?
Yeah.
She's a beast.
She's crazy. She's so. It's
Show
so
you
funny.
a thing or two, Josh. Probably.
That's right.
She would.
Still, I mean, remember it was probably about 10 years ago when Bubba Ray Dudley put her through a table at like 70 something or 80. It's like, oh my God, this woman's insane. She was doing crazy things.
What a strange sort of, yeah.
It's like that's someone's grandmother. She's taking bumps through tables.
A strange sort of cult part of Americana, professional wrestling really is, isn't it? It really is.
Rick told me she used to go, like her and Moolah or those old ladies used to go to grocery stores and fall and bump on the floor and then tell them that, we won't sue if you give us $500. And,
yeah, there's been a few old timers that have done that.
Oh, yeah.
They're mop chasers, I call them. They wait until there's someone out of a mop and then whatever it takes, right, to pay the bills. Anyway, then we had AJ with the refs going a little bit more crazy.
Yep.
What a set of legs on her. What a set of Scotch eggs.
And
My word.
she was, when she became the general manager, she was in the pantsuit and everything for a while, and she finally smartened up and realized people they want to see her legs. It's like, why aren't they like me? Because you put everything on. She was completely clothed up.
So now she's wearing
the shorts, which is smart.
Yeah,
I mean, she's still got the suit on.
What do you think of
what do
you think of shorts? Women in shorts.
Oh, I like it. I mean,
when they have the right assets, it
may not be the best thing in the world.
Yeah, and
but they're next to it.
She's got. I love the legs on AJ, so gotta love them. Gotta love those shorts.
Then one of my fellow countrymen, Wade Barrett, the Barrett
versus Tyson
Barrage.
Do you know Wade Barrett?
Not personally. I met him once or twice.
Okay.
But that was it very briefly. We kind of went on different trajectories,
Gotcha.
He started out, doing the same sort of shows that I did in England, but a few years later.
Right.
Back when I started out and I was doing that, WWE wasn't really taking a lot of people from England.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
They had Regal and that was about it, right?
Well, they had Regal, right? And then after Regal, it was really Paul Burchill was really the first person they took from England to, over.
And I guess
to
Katie Lee came
Katie
with
Lee
her.
as well, came a little bit after that. But then, it was probably 2 or 3 more years before they really started to, mass influx,
Right.
They've had a lot, a good, probably 15 or 20 guys.
Yeah, and they just signed Pac, or is that
Oh,
what
they
was
did that right? Really?
Or,
Yeah. Good for him.
Yeah,
Wow.
I just know the name. I actually haven't seen anything with him.
He's
but
fantastic.
That's what I hear.
Absolutely amazing. He's great.
Yeah, so supposedly he's going to be heading down to Florida soon, is the rumor. And he's on his farewell tour in England right now.
So, where are we? Then we got to talk to...
Before we go on to Jerry Wade Barrett beat Tyson Kidd with his... First of all, he hit him with, which I know is the black hole slam, which Abyss and TNA does, a kind of spinning sidewalk slam. Which I think is kind of a cooler finisher than the forearm he does.
Looked great, but then it looked great because Tyson Kidd made it look great.
Yeah, that's true. Great worker.
Do that to Brodus Clay, and I don't think it's going to look quite so fantastic.
Very true. And somebody that I wish they would actually give a little bit more of a chance to.
I was just thinking the same thing,
Kidd.
Fast, exciting, really looked good.
Trained by the heart.
Great attitude.
Obviously knows the business. Yeah. And they were starting to a little bit during, which was Money in the Bank. They put him in that match, and now they've kind of just got him back to being taken out by some of the other stars. So it's unfortunate.
As long as you're still making money, you're still on the road, you just, and like with a lot of guys, you just have to wait for that spot.
He is that guy that whenever you hear Daniel Bryan or CM Punk or someone talk, and they always ask, who's that guy that's on the roster that we don't ever get to see that has that ability to be the next star? They always say Tyson Kidd, and he just needs a chance.
That's it, absolutely.
So,
speaking of having a chance, we got a chance to see Jerry Lawler.
So good to see the King looking good for having just been had a heart attack.
Looking good considering.
2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, he was definitely smaller, definitely looked weaker, but as you said, you have a heart attack.
Yeah, and he had a tube, down his throat for a couple days, so he had a hoarse voice.
But very genuine, obviously, with what he said. And I saw that with a lot of guys tonight, whether it was Punk or even Cena at the end of the night.
Yeah.
There was a genuineness to what they were saying, and I think that's what people need, to believe in people nowadays.
And as terrible as that was when Jerry had the heart attack during Raw, thank God that's when that happened and not when he was in a hotel room, in a car, on a plane, because they said 1 in 260 people survive what happened to him.
Right.
And there was literally a doctor 5 feet from him. And it took him a long time to resuscitate him.
He was dead for like 20 minutes.
Yeah, they said that he was legally dead for 20 minutes. Or that's a rumor. I mean, I didn't hear anything official on that, but that's unbelievable that the doctors were right there and they were able to save this guy.
And he said he didn't remember anything about the match that he had.
He thought he was still on vacation.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah, he thought he was in Aruba
with his girlfriend. Probably thought he was in heaven, right?
Yeah.
Oh, who is his girlfriend, you know?
I'm not sure, but I bet she's younger than me.
I think she's younger than me.
Probably.
I think she's 5 years younger than me.
Oh, my God.
How old are you?
28. I think she's 23.
I was just listening.
2007 is what she is, I think.
Oh man, I was listening to this week's Colt Cabana's Does That Art of Wrestling?
Yeah, fantastic podcast,
phenomenal.
Yes,
and he had Dutch Mantel on this week, and they were talking about Memphis, and they were saying 3 biggest names ever out of Memphis were Elvis, Martin Luther King, and then Jerry Lawler, and just talking about how he was the king of that territory.
Jackie Fargo, I always heard, was a big guy in Memphis. But, yeah.
I hear Jerry was the man, supposedly.
No doubt. 23.
Weren't they saying that 80% of Memphis watched that show or something like that?
Yeah, they got a huge share.
Stupid.
Share. Yeah.
It's crazy.
Never be again, they'll never get, there's so much variety for entertainment now that you'll never get that. When Freddie Blassie first went to Japan, and he did this segment where he attacked, I think it was Ricky Dozan, and he had a pencil and he jabbed it into Ricky Dozan's head, and there was blood on TV. And this was the first time. And this was post World War II, maybe 5 or 10 years. So imagine 5 or 10 years after the World Trade Center,
right?
If there had been something on TV where someone, from, well, strictly speaking, Saudi Arabia or Iraq, where they said they were from, came in and did something like that, the outcry there would have been.
Oh my God!
And they literally, I think they had 9 out of 10 TV. 9 out of 10 TVs in Japan were watching that, and there were people that had heart attacks from it,
Oh my God!
Because it was just a different era. I mean, think of Orson Welles.
They stuck a pencil in the guy's eye
in his head. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
He bled. I mean, Orson Welles, and I think it was 38 or something like that, did a radio program.
Yeah.
War of the Worlds, right?
And I'll tell you, I had to listen to War of the Worlds for in film school.
Yeah.
If you thought that was real, you're a moron.
But that was 1938.
But they tell you in the thing, this isn't real, this is not happening, this is a fiction.
Yeah, so I could
but if you listen to it, it's so obvious. I listened to that in film school. I'm like, what moron actually fell for this?
Hey guys,
because they tell you.
I think we have someone online.
Oh,
who do we have?
Who's all right, we've got somebody on the line. Caller, if you can identify yourself.
Hey, what's up, man? It's me, Chris again.
What's up, Chris again?
Hey, what's going on? Hey, man. Hey, what's it called? Hey, it's good to hear Jerry Lawler back.
Oh, what's up, pal? What do you want to say?
It's good to hear Jerry Lawler. He's getting better. Hey, what are you guys talking about, though?
Yeah, he is getting better. Yep.
You want to see him come back?
What happened to JPL?
JBL, yeah, he just wasn't. JBL's doing his what is it, that 7 Summits thing where he's climbing all the mountains. So he's off doing that right now.
They brought him in for for a nice sort of addition, and then
Mick Foley, it's good to see Mick Foley back too.
It certainly is, and it's good to hear from you as well, mate.
Yeah, hey, what's going? Hey, is it true that you are a wrestler?
No, who told you that? Sometimes I wrestle with my conscience, but
I was watching. I was watching YouTube last week, and
RedTube.
You the British guy. What's your name?
Frankie.
Huh?
Hulk.
You are a wrestler?
No. Why does everyone think that?
I have no idea. You announce wrestling, right?
Yeah, I'm a commentator.
All right, I think he's gone.
We got disconnect. Dang. Well, I want to say something.
Okay.
That was pretty funny, and we all love we all love comedy. So it's human nature, for God's sakes.
Oh
right?
yeah.
Well, Fox premiering Tuesday is stacked with them. Okay, we've got a great fall lineup with Fox. A lot of female comedy going on. We got the new
Nigel
girl.
loves that.
Yeah, new girl. You like her? Zoe,
New girl, the old girl, any girl.
Any girl. Yeah, she had a little hot little number, a little hipster girl.
Right.
And then we got Ben and Kate. Let's get rid of Ben and we'll be good. And then you got Mindy Kaling and the Mindy Project.
Aha.
Yeah, she's funny, quirky little girl. So got a lot of good stuff coming up. September 25th.
That is tomorrow.
That is tomorrow.
That is tomorrow. You know what else is on that day?
What?
It's my birthday tomorrow.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Well, congratulations.
Thank you. So yeah, we're
How old?
22.
That's a lie.
39.
One more, and then that's it.
But
for
I don't
you,
look a day
pal.
over what, 27?
You could pass for 32, but
right.
nonetheless, I mean,
Yeah, that's crazy.
wow.
Yeah, I get that a lot.
39, one more.
It's the
and
only
then
reason I
it's
can start
down.
wrestling at this late age is because at least I look a little bit younger.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. As long as you can act a little bit younger.
Oh, I do.
You can move.
It was once a curse. It is now a. It's now a
Blessing.
Gift to look, a blessing. Yeah, but when you're 21, and you look like you're 12, it's tough to get a date. So.
Right. Josh, let me ask you this. You've been a wrestling fan, for a while now. WWE Universe, the phrase, to me it sounds like I'm watching 1984 and it's like WWE Universe. Like they're forced to say this,
Right.
It just doesn't sound genuine to me. Is it to you? Or not?
It's the fans.
Yeah. I have a hard time with this whole...
Still?
The whole thing with the social media, like, hey, you're all the universe. This is all us. I'm like, yeah, I'm a fan. That's great. I'm a wrestling fan. Like, I don't need to be included. Like, they're really trying.
It's a branding thing.
Exactly.
I think they can brand the name of their fans. They can make money off of it. That's what it is.
Yeah. I don't know. Weird. It's the
I
one
don't want to
thing.
be called the universe.
Yeah, I don't like it.
Strange, but
I don't think it's going away anytime soon.
absolutely not. I like herpes. So anyway, apparently, when we had what I thought was a fantastic match, 6-man tag.
Yeah.
Sin Cara, Rey Mysterio, Sheamus against Del Rio, Otunga, and Rodriguez.
Yes, which a lot of people don't get to see Rodriguez wrestle. I don't think you've really gotten to see much of him, but he's really talented. He's a really good wrestler.
Yeah.
And as you can see, he's really talented because he makes himself look bad. And that's really hard to do. Sometimes to be good but look bad. Well, but to be good about it when there's guys that are bad and look bad, and then
being good meaning like not hurting anyone,
right?
Or hurting
And like
yourself.
I'll never forget. There's a great movie called Boogie Nights. I'm sure you've seen it with Paul Thomas Anderson, and he told Julianne Moore, "Wait until you have to do bad acting. You're gonna have a really tough time because you're such a good actress. When you're really good, it's hard to be bad sometimes." So
when did she have to do bad acting? When she was
because
like...
they were doing the porn type stuff,
right?
So
and
she had to act like 70s porn,
right, right.
And they were like, "You're gonna have the toughest time doing this because you're a great actress. And you're gonna have a tough time being bad."
Yeah.
So
was that a real like?
in the movie it was prosthetic.
It was.
Yeah.
It was. They didn't have like a stunt.
No.
Schlong.
No,
They brought
it
in.
was a prosthetic.
Right, cut.
That was rubber.
Bring in Nigel McGuinness. It's a rumor. It's just a rumor.
I'll tell you, I like the idea of teaming Sin Cara and Rey Mysterio.
Yeah.
Especially since Sin Cara's kind of come back from injury. He's not able to wrestle the way, it doesn't seem like he can really wrestle the way he had before. And to be put with a guy like Mysterio who kind of went through that himself, I think that's A, really good for a young worker, and B, they work really well together. They're a great looking tag team.
Yep.
And really, the finish with the Swanton bomb that Sin Cara hit at the end was awesome. He jumped to the ropes and immediately hit it. He didn't set up. It was on the top rope and gone.
Right. Let me ask you this quickly because we're going to have to keep things moving. But there was one thing I wanted to draw attention to there. When Sheamus came in and hit that comeback, he hit a knee lift. And Jim Ross said shades of Mr. Wrestling 2, which if you're a wrestling fan, Mr. Wrestling 2 was a real legend from the Southeast Territories down through the knee lift before Jake the Snake or before a lot of the modern age guys. Anyway, The reason I bring it up was because just this past weekend when I was at Ring of Honor, I was talking to some of the guys, and I do commentary there. And when I do, a lot of times there was a guy who came in who kind of resembled Rick Rude, and I said, shades of Rick Rude. And some of the boys came to me afterwards and said that really they thought that was a knock on the guy, saying that he was essentially just a rip-off of Rick Rude, whereas I thought it was a way of immediately identifying him with someone who was, you know, super over and immediately giving them that, you know what I mean? So when
it's
when
a
he said,
compliment,
well,
as
that's
far
what
as
I
I'm
thought,
concerned,
you know what I mean? But do you when you guys hear that, do you think it's a compliment or do you think it's like makes them a knockoff?
I think it's a compliment. I actually did the same thing to a local worker, Mikey O'Shea, that works for NWA or now Championship Wrestling from Hollywood, and just got a WWE tryout. And I've said to him, he reminds me of a young Bam Bam Bigelow, which he gets all the time.
Yeah.
And that was nothing but a compliment. You know, Bam Bam was a great big man. So
fantastic.
Yeah,
I'm right.
I think you are correct. Yeah, you are. Are you ever wrong, Nigel?
Never.
Yeah. You know what I always say? I'm not always right, but I'm never wrong.
Then we had another Brian and Kane segment with the swapping food issue, which I thought would have been an issue, but as you told me, Ryan, no more. Burping and vomiting. Always entertaining or not?
Fart jokes, I guess, are always funny.
It does seem to go there. WWE, necrophilia, we've had a lot.
Sophomore humor,
Because arguably a lot of their demographic is entertained by that sort of stuff.
Yeah, they think farts and puking and all that's funny. Body functions are funny to little kids. So.
Right. Yeah, they can be in the right sort of context.
And they're the ones that say, "Mommy, mommy, I want that T-shirt. I need the purple John Cena T-shirt." So that's who you gotta go for. Yeah.
So then we had the Divas match: Layla and Alicia Fox against Eve and Beth Phoenix. I thought great match.
Yeah,
you know, I mean, I know a lot of times girls, divas or whatever else, have got a lot of heat for not being good wrestlers.
Yeah.
And perfectly
I thought they did fine.
I thought they did great.
Yeah,
you know?
Alicia Fox looked
did
good.
well.
Entertaining. They look fantastic.
Yeah,
oh my
Alicia's,
god, they look fantastic.
Of the four, Alicia's the only one that she'd be the weakest one, and I think she's improved a lot. You can tell she's working hard.
Yeah,
you know, she was one of these models that was brought in as well, but you can tell she's trying.
Yep.
And I definitely appreciate her for that. And then Caitlyn came out as well, and then. Said she had footage of her attack, and the woman. But of course, we didn't get to see the footage. But she informed us that the woman had blonde hair, and then Eve
attacked Beth Phoenix.
Yeah, she accused Beth of doing it. I have a feeling it's going to be Eve in a blonde wig.
Yeah,
but that's my guess is where we're going with that.
Could be. Funny story, actually, very quickly. Alicia Fox's sister was down in developmental when I was
She
down.
just got released, I think.
Just got released recently. Very nice girl, you know. I really hope that she'd be up on TV. Christina Fox, that's right. And one time it was me and her and Evan Bourne and maybe even Tyson Kidd. And we went out to Clearwater Beach and I was wearing these short, sort of like European, not Speedos, but they were tight like Speedos, but a little longer.
Right.
Well, they were tight about 3 or 4 years ago, but in the meantime, through washing, they got very loose. So as I was like pulling off my longer shorts, one of the little boys slipped out and Christina Fox was looking up at that exact moment. And that was her lasting memory of Nigel McGuinness. Brilliant.
She'll never forget you.
Thanks for sharing, Nigel. Anyway, then we've got next match, Tensai and Brodus Clay.
Two big men.
Two big men. And, you know, we talked last week about Tensai really coming into his own.
Yeah,
Learned a lot in Japan when he was over there.
Great worker.
Josh, have you watched much of Japanese wrestling or not?
Yeah, I've watched a little bit of it.
Yeah.
My big thing is like when I watched like old Hogan stuff when he was over there, I'm like, oh wow, this guy's like he's a completely different wrestler.
Yeah,
when he's in Japan, it's crazy.
It's a totally different style over there. Have you wrestled over in Japan?
Yeah, I've had a few tours.
Yeah.
For pro wrestling now, it's a great place, and they look at wrestlers in it's a very different form over there. It has a very different place in society over there. They're all looked at as sportsmen. Whether they think it's real or not is neither here nor there.
Yeah.
There's a lot of respect.
Yeah,
it's Japan's a big country about respect anyway.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
they like clap during certain
And
moves.
they're quiet and they're watching. You know, and they won't get you won't get heckled in Japan like you do in America, you know, where you won't get someone trying to jump in the ring like they did on Raw tonight. Right?
Oh yeah, that's right. We forgot to talk about that. Somebody, which they should have just let Ryback get his hands on him, you know, and throw him over the rope. Yeah, it would place would have gone crazy.
Yeah, I think so.
You know, let him lift the dude over his head and throw him out.
Yeah, but who knows? Maybe that guy might have been an MMA guy and might have tapped him out or something.
You never.
That.
Yeah, that is true.
Either way, though, I mean, that in my mind, if you want to trend worldwide, that trend worldwide, right?
Ryback beats up moron. Yeah, you know. Like, what do you think his blood? What do you think his blood alcohol level is?
What if he was special though?
Okay.
He ran pretty fast for a special person.
Yeah.
If he got past everybody.
Yeah, there's no way. Yeah.
I mean, he was in there and quick, but. Yeah, I don't even know what would make you want to do that, especially like run in during the cruiserweights. Not when Ryback is in there.
But it's one of those. You know? It's one of those things.
Run in there when Kofi's in there. Not that guy who eats 10,000 calories a day.
I think a lot of people, and you know, I know from wrestling schools, a lot of people think that, oh, well, I see this on TV, I can do this. You know what I mean? And they have a few drinks, think, I'll give it a go. What's the worst that can happen? You know. And
Rick loves to talk about those calls he gets every day. Of I got my theme music. And I know my finishing hold. I'm ready to be a WWE superstar. Where do you live? Nashville. Can you teach me? Like, I live in California.
It doesn't speak well for their demographic. No, it really doesn't.
They're 13-year-old kids calling them all day long.
Juggalos.
So then, all right, we had the Big Show come out.
Oh yeah, Big Show came out.
Two big guys, and then the biggest of them all came out.
And he punched each of them in the face.
Punched them, knocked them
WMD.
out. You know, I don't know where they're going with the Big Show. I'm not sure what is to lead up to.
Yeah, I'm not
do you
sure.
know?
I have no idea. That just kind of came out of nowhere.
But
so
I'm a big fan of making guys look strong.
Yeah.
You know, as long as you're doing something with it. You know. And,
so yeah, maybe the three of them will have something going on. So, and you know, one thing we actually jumped over. We should go back to is the Daniel Bryan and Kane coming down to the ring for their new team name.
Oh yeah,
which was on the Raw Active, which they are now Team Hell No.
I don't get it. I don't understand.
Because that's what they voted for.
59%.
Well, of course. I knew that. I knew when I saw those options. There was only one option. It was going to be.
I think it was Team Friendship is what they were wanting because that's what they called them a couple weeks ago. They called them Team Friendship.
Yeah, they may have been wanting that,
but that's not
hell
what the universe.
Hell no.
But I'm happy. I think the universe went against what WWE wanted on the Raw Active for the first time.
Of those three options, which sounds cool is hell no. I mean, it's a no-brainer. Yeah. I'd have put a lot of money on that.
But then we had an attack from Sandow and Cody Rhodes, and they are now the Rhodes Scholars.
Yeah. All right.
Rhodes Scholars.
So another tag team is in the.
At least they have a name
right now. Yeah.
At least they have a name.
So we'll be interested to see how they do.
Yeah. So.
And then to close things up, we had John Cena coming out with his pink hat. Representing breast awareness, breast cancer awareness.
Breast cancer awareness.
We're all aware of breasts.
I guess we are done with the Be a Star bully campaign, and we're now on to breasts.
Right.
You know,
right.
From bullies to breasts. Yeah.
The Suzanne G. Komen Award. Right. Yeah. So that was good. But then it's just difficult for me when you end the show on a promo, and then obviously someone's going to come out and attack them and yada yada yada. You got to leave them hot. You got to leave them wanting more.
Yeah.
Did you feel that was how it was left?
Oh, it's terrible.
Yeah, and it started. You know, you started the show with a promo. You ended the show with a promo, and we had a couple in the middle as well. But I should say that Cena said he will be at Hell in a Cell.
Right.
You know, he said that he will be there no matter what. And then Punk came out after with Mr. Heyman and did his whole thing, which made a lot of sense, all his feelings, and then said that Cena was stupid for walking in with a broken arm because essentially Punk is an animal and can take him out. I need 5 seconds to get out of the ring.
Yeah.
All right.
Cena's never been able to beat him.
Turned around, gave him the 5 seconds. When he turned back, he had a roll of cellophane.
Or it looked to me like a track baton.
Right.
A relay baton.
Hit him in the guts. He fell over, screaming and shouting, and rolled out and
what a hero.
left
What a
Cena
hero,
in the ring, standing strong.
Yeah.
To me, I just think you get hit in the guts with it. Okay, you're gonna hurt, but guys, if if he's going to beat him up, and we've seen.
I wanted to see him rip his arm off. I wanted to see him beat him up.
I just think for him to just get upset about that one thing and then roll out and try and come back and attack him, it was tough for me to buy. But
I agree.
You know, I mean, I remember watching that bit and thinking, well, these guys are all great and they're all genuine, and I'm believing everything they say, but it just didn't. It was the writing. Didn't hype it up.
It was creative on that.
So, but anyway, so there we go. On a scale of 1 to 100, then now we've got the opportunity. She started off with a 7 out of 1 to 100.
70 to 75.
A 70.
70, 75.
75 it is. 75.
60.
Do I get a 66? A 60, a 60, a 60.
So that's not even that's a D, almost a failing grade if this is school.
I mean, Punk was.
That's a D minus.
I'm going to give it a 68.
68?
A 68, one away from a 69.
So it's a D plus.
Speaking of which, when is Maria going to call in?
I don't know.
I hope we haven't led people on.
I hope she does call in.
Oh, dear.
They're mad online that she hasn't been here.
I'm mad. I show up every time.
And again,
I have to look at you bastards.
We want her here.
You know?
We try. She's not in town right now. She will be back at some point.
She will be back. And then the more you go to iTunes and like us, the more likely she is to come back on the show.
If this show goes up to 5 stars tomorrow, then she'll be back next week.
Yeah, but do go there and do like us, please, 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 please. All right, so pretty much that's the end of the show.
Yeah, that was pretty much it.
Do we have any callers on the line?
No, we do not.
We do not.
Are we? Oh, I guess we're done.
That sounds like we're out of time here. So thanks very much, ladies and gentlemen. This is Nigel McGuinness saying thanks for tuning in. We will see you next time. Buzz you later, right?
That's not yet.
After that.
It's not yet.
Yeah.
From Bing.com, executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
Thank you, Dick.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.